Hi there, knife people. Hello, lady and gentlemen. The time has come. If you're looking for a good sharpening tool, but don't have a budget of a small South American country, you probably should watch it till the end because we are matching up Worksharp Precision Adjust Elite and Worksharp Precision Adjust Professional. Yes, I know it's Worksharp Professional Precision Adjust and Worksharp Elite Precision Adjust, but it's just easier to say it the other way. I am not sponsored by Worksharp. They ignore my existence because of my really successful video where I pointed out all the hacks that I needed to do to get this professional unit to the level of being actually almost professional unit. This guy, I also did a hack video on this, and also we'll have a link in the description. So it's sort of like an intramural competition between the two sharpening systems from the same company. And I get this question all the time, should I buy this one or that one? And hopefully by the end of this video, some of your questions will be answered and you will be closer to the decision. Let's talk about the knives. I work with a bunch of military veterans, and one of them, let's just call him Master Sergeant. A Master Sergeant came to me and he said, hey, I heard you have a knife channel and I have a couple of knives I wanted to show you. And he showed me this Gerber, what is it called? I just looked it up, jeez. And he brought these, and he pulled out these two nearly identical Gerber Emerson Elite Auto. This one he carried with him, I forgot, he said 3 or 4 deployments. He's a seasoned combat veteran. This one he bought because the original one has a messed up safety button. And the automatic function works fine, but the safety doesn't work. So he recently bought this new one. And the biggest difference between the two is the logo that Gerber uses changed when it was acquired by Fiskar company from Finland. So it has a Gerber factory edge, and this one doesn't. Both of them are half serrated, which to me represents a significant challenge because these tools are very ill equipped to deal with serrations. Both of them have this rudimentary rods, and Elite has even a more rudimentary rod for serrations. Luckily, he hasn't used the serrations very much. Hopefully the test shows that they're still sharp. So I'll be only sharpening the plain section of the blade, hopefully. In this case, hope turned out not to be a good strategy. So this is the original combat veteran Gerber. So yeah, it's kind of cutting. The new one. Ooh, there is definitely a discernible difference between the two. Hopefully my little microscope will tell me what these differences are. I'm starting with the tip on the brand new knife. As you can see, the tip is well ground. The media is a little bit on the rougher side, but looks like it was paper wheel stropped at the factory. But only on the plain edge section, as you will see right here, there's still a little bit of burr hanging on the serrations. And that's what the new serrations look like. And this horrendous thing is the edge on the old one. Clearly, let's not name any names, but somebody used a pull-through sharpener on it, which is a big no-no unless you want your edge to look like this. In the serrations, I just think this is wear. Just honest wear from cutting rubber hoses and an occasional zip tie or 20 of them. And so my strategy is to put the old one on the Pro Precision Adjust because it has longer and wider plates. This way I will remove material quickly, and it will require some serious material removal to eliminate the consequences of that horrendous pull-through sharpening. The new one, I will try to match the factory angle, and so not anticipating a long time sharpening, I'm going to put it on the Elite. As you can see here, both knives are set non-parallel to the vice or non-perpendicular to the axis of sharpening. That is because I would like to maintain the same exact angle throughout the entire span of sharpening. And if you're wondering what I mean by this, you really need to watch previous episodes where I address the setup of a knife in details. So to get these two to about the same level of sharpness and performance, I'm going to find the factory edge angle on the new knife and then match it on the older knife. All right, change of plans. The knife here, the new one has 23.5, 24 degrees per side. The blade is 154 cm steel, which is sort of like a lower mid-grade or higher low-grade steel. So I'm going to just go for 20 degrees and call it a day. And I will repeat myself again. I will not be showing you the little step-by-step instructions here. This video is to compare the two devices. You have to watch my other videos where you will learn lots of small but critical hacks. And speaking of the hacks, this one is to keep the blade absolutely flat. If you really want to get precise, I use this little helper tool. Again, I have a video about that too. It just prevents any kind of movement in what I call XY plane. It's a little bit hard to see how much metal you're removing without the use of a Sharpie. That's why Sharpie is your go-to tool to keep you informed how much more metal you still need to remove before you get to the burr on the apex. So I spend next 40 minutes alternating between the two devices, and I use 320, 400, 600, and 800 sharpening plates. The funny object on my head is jeweler's binoculars. I think I'm done messing with it, and now I'm gonna put honing surface on and just hone it. And honing is very light touch, no pressure. You don't want to micro bevel it after you work so hard to make it flat and uniform. I'm not done by far, but now is a good moment to thank all my commenters, subscribers, people that hit likes. I really appreciate that. Promotes my channel to viewers just like yourself. And a special thanks goes to people who donate to the channel via super thanks. This is incredibly inspiring and humbling at the same time. Switching to the other knife. Here's another way to help your favorite channels. Hit share and then copy the link. Once the link is copied, the algorithm knows that you cared enough to do that and will promote the video to viewers with similar profiles to yours. That costs you nothing and promotes those small independent channels that you like so much. There is a new YouTube button coming to your screens soon. It's called Hype This Video. It will promote the video to more people. Now, that only applies to channels with fewer than 500,000 subscribers. So you will be able to support channels like mine, Tri-State EDC, Neves Knives, Next Level EDC, but not the larger channels. Next step will be stropping. I'm pulling out this plate that Worksharp provided with the set. Notice how much rougher this, like for some reason there's this idea that it has to be a rough side of leather to hold the compound. That's BS. You don't. This is a shiny side of the trouser belt, and it holds compound just fine. And what they do at Worksharp, they give you leather that's way too rough. I'm just going to use my own little strop. When you start stropping, there still could be some burr left. You just want to remember to not put too much pressure. You don't want to convex the micro bevel there, like you don't want to create a convex micro bevel. You're just making a few passes, and when the leather is that shiny, it will tell you if you still have some burr, because you will see sort of striping or striations on the leather, and I don't see any. That means I successfully got rid of all the burr. That's my telltale sign. And then I go, this side is convex, so it gives me more of like a single point of contact, not exactly, but similar. And any compound that got embedded on this side is just came from the blade. It's just basically bare leather. Now I would like to hone the flat side of the serrations. You could actually do it like this. You could actually put the media back on, but flip it on this side and walk your knife over like so. There should be almost no angle there, like you just barely caressing it. I want to jump ahead and say don't punch out of the video because this doesn't work out, and toward the end I'm showing you what does. And then strop. And I never try to strop it through the actual serrations. This old knife was hanging up right here where the plain edge starts, so let's, and it still hangs up. I don't consider a knife sharp until it cuts through hanging unsupported paper towel. That's the old one. And clearly it gets in and cuts. I'm not used to working with such a short cutting edge geometry, but there you have it. We can try this guy too. Ah, it's getting in, but because I'm on the belly, it's messing me up. Not my traditional sharpening job. But after cutting paper towel, I'm confident it can do this. See how it gets in? And then it slides right out. Yeah. Very short. Very short. Let's try this blade. There you go. It's a tactical knife. You're going to go tactical on it. There you have it. So since I felt like I failed the task of completing the sharpening of this knife because my serrations weren't fully sharpened, I racked my brain around and then I realized, why not try just something simple? So I decided to place this carriage right here and just place the knife with the serrations down onto this rod. And I said, well, I can't make it worse even though the radius doesn't match the radius of each individual serration, but let's see where it gets me. And that's the motion I'm using here. I'm holding the blade horizontal and I'm basically putting a tertiary bevel on the serration here. And because they're varying in size, you know, it takes more or less effort for each of them. So I'm going to touch every one of them, especially the ones that you saw were quite messed up with a microscope. And I'll show you the results under the microscope again. And of course, I'll try to cut some of the same strap. And I actually feel like it's raising the burr on the opposite side. So this is good. If you're a little bit confused about that terminology, so that flat here is a primary bevel, the edge is a secondary bevel, so is the serration in this section of the knife is the secondary bevel, and that micro edge I'm putting on the serrations would be called tertiary bevel or micro bevel. Of course, it's turning out to not be so micro. Yes, I have burr all along the serrations, except for maybe some reason it's turning out the large ones are a little harder to deal with. And be very careful. You have to apply downward pressure, so keep your hands safe and no big motions. Finesse here. A little bit of pressure. Usually I don't use that much pressure. I'm just trying to get the rod stick with the curve. Maybe I'm overthinking it with the pressure, but I'm an engineer and overthinking is what I get paid for. And here there's this transition where it's catching. So I'm going to turn it a little bit and smooth it out a little bit. Let me see how it works before I speak too soon. What I'm trying to do is extend the micro bevel onto that little shark tooth here. See if it helps. All right, and so I prepared this ceramic rod, and I'm just going to manually run it just to break the burr or weaken the burr here on this side. And stropping should do the rest. Let's see if it gotten any better. See how it still catches right there? I want that sharpened out, so I'm going to now flip it on this side, and just this one, sorry about the camera knocking. So you can see here I'm learning a little bit as I go, and what I'm doing here, I'm on the flat side of the serration. I want that bevel to go this way, so it's like an additional edge here. I hope that makes a little bit of sense to you guys. Yeah, let's try that. Ooh, better. Definitely helped. So I sharpened that transition. Yeah. Ooh, that's exciting. So that worked great. I got to do it one more time. Definitely better. I think we're in the Zen zone with this knife. And then I think I can make this knife even better, the new one. So I'm going to go right at it and put that micro bevel on the transition there. There's nothing wrong with learning as you go because, you know, that's a primary reason to get in a hobby like this. All right, let's see if it worked. Oh yeah, definitely. So I'll show you this, all this, what it looks like under the microscope. First, let's take a look at the newer of the two blades. Not much change in the geometry on the serrated side. Let's flip it over. And this is where I added a little bit of a bevel so that the material you're cutting can sort of glide into the plain section of the blade. Additionally, it strengthens the edge of the serration in this area. Looking at the older blade, as you recall, the first three serrations were particularly damaged with chips on the edge, and the new bevel didn't quite fix all of it. Yet the knife cuts through the webbing 100% better than before. So I'm not going to waste any time or metal to make it look pretty. Flipping the knife over. As you can see, I removed quite a bit of material here, making into a pretty defined edge there. And the reason I'm saying it strengthens the serration is I effectively doubled the apex angle. So now the edge is a lot better supported in this area. And look how smooth this transition is. So because this blade was asymmetric as far as where the two bevels angled, the primary bevels, one side, while they're at the same angle, 20 degrees, this side looks a lot wider. If I try to even them out, I will not be, achieving any practical result. It's just going to look more symmetric. Think of it as evidence of somewhat less expensive production. It doesn't affect anything because the knife will cut uh, no matter what, it will get in. See that? So it cuts just fine when you sharpen it properly. But cosmetically, you can tell the difference in angle. And all it takes is a degree of angle, and your bevels look that different. This is an older Alliance, and as you can see, it is symmetrical, and I believe that was about half a point on average harder. I measured hardness. I'm not going to include the test here because I don't want to damage the coating any more than I have to. The old one was actually 61 and a half, and the new one was like 61. So very minute difference. Another thing that you may want to consider when selecting between the two systems is storage. Obviously, this is bigger. It comes apart, but you have to unscrew a couple screws, and I just don't like messing with it. This is a stationary system for me. Stationary in a sense, I don't take it on the road with me, but I use the box that it comes in with. Has these that's not part of it. This is where I store my sharpening stuff, right? So this is the insert in the box that the Professional Precision Adjust came in, and here's all the media. And so far, after maybe 150 sharpenings, I only had to replace, and I didn't even have to, I just wanted to replace 600 and 800. Now let's take a look how the Elite unit stores. If you were to buy the Elite system, it would come in this case. If you're buying the basic system, it doesn't have the case, but when you buy add-ons, it comes with the Elite case, if it makes sense. And that's what it looks like inside. There is the entire device, the tool, and this is the sharpening media. And of course, this set came with the original. I bought them separately. The original had these three grades, three grits, 320. This is the ceramic, and the 600. So because there's only three of them, and you end up doing all your angle changes with 320 and then straight to 600, you're not getting very smooth, very polished edge in the end, and also 600 plate wears out rather quickly. I strongly advise you to not buy it that way. Buy the whole set. It's you're gonna thank me for it, even though I'm making you spend extra 60 bucks or so, or 50 bucks. Yeah, 50 bucks is the difference going one way versus the other. Cheaper in the package, but just in case they count on people do what I did, and I can put this here. It has space for storage. I have my Sharpie here, and I can always stow my magnetic base blade support device in here and carry it anywhere I go. So in the end, I would like to point out a couple advantages and disadvantages of both systems. First, the advantages. The Elite is very portable. You can pack it for any trip. If you're taking an extended trip, this big one is perfect for your home, especially if you mount it. I decided not to mount it because I like to rotate it, but people have different preferences. I don't think it impacts the overall, performance of the device. Now, comparing side by side, obviously any sharpening will take longer on a smaller device than on the larger, just due to the area you are covering or area of the sharpening media that you're using. And to be honest with you, after the mod that I put bronze bushings here and a couple other mods, this runs a lot smoother to me anyway. But not to say that I couldn't put a screaming sharp edge on this using on any knife using this device. Now, the limits are there. People complain about clamps not being very strong, and in every video I remind them that when you are clamping, you need to use both hands. You're gonna get a lot stronger grip using two hands. When you stroking with your media, you're not putting downward pressure on. You're doing very, very little downward pressure. It should feel like a well used ball pen as far as pressure goes. The advantage is stability, quickness of sharpening, comes with the angle finder. It comes with a couple of gimmicks, like that Strop was one of them, and this base that's supposed to go here and allow you to clamp small narrow blade knives, plain out doesn't work. Tried it, you're gonna ruin your Swiss Army knife, you're gonna ruin your small I don't know, MacB, Spyderco MacB or something like that. Don't use this device. This is just trash. uh, it just doesn't work. You need positive clamping, and when you you just can't get the correct angles to it. Just waste of plastic and metal. Sorry for mincing words here. Now, other than that, I feel like it's a decent buy for your money. If you are super tight on the budget, I do recommend still go to $140 or was it $149 purchase for the Elite package, because it's just gonna help you keep everything organized and more portable. And this is my recommendation. Now, if you just want to learn how to use a fixed angle system, just a basic $70 model is okay, but you're going to be missing out on some of the finer finishes because of skipping from 320 to 600 to ceramic without anything in between. I hope that helps.